Thank you, Uma. Air power played an important role in the Eastern Theater to degrade Pakistan Army's capability to respond to uh, Indian Army in swiftly reaching Dhaka and surprising the world by contributing to Indian Army Armed Forces victory over Pakistan. Air Marshal Harish Masan, Veer Chakra and Vayu Medal, a fighter pilot of par excellence, was part of the Hunter Squadron, which helped in extinguishing the will of Pakistan Army to fight. Incidentally, he was awarded Veer Chakra for downing an F-86 Sabre jet en route to Dhaka. Post-retirement, he has been active in writing and speaking on national security issues. Air Marshal will help us to understand air operations in Eastern Theater during the war. Over to Air Marshal Masan.
I will briefly touch upon just four air operations, three of which I was a part of, and just mention some of the lessons that we need to draw from them. The first one is intelligence, basically. In my squadron, 37th Squadron in Hasimara, where I was, we had 6 aircraft modified for Fororeki. And my CEO, Supikol, who went on to become the chief in 1993 later, and I together did some 9 missions starting from October of 1971. Amazingly, just 3 of these missions were requested by the Army. The first one was over Hilli, and then Dinajpur, and the last one over Komila and Lalmai Hills in the Foko sector, only on the 2nd of December, just a day, 2 days before the war. We also had a Su-7 squadron based in Panagar with vertical cameras. All the aircraft had vertical cameras. But I'm sorry to say that all the 3 armed forces, actually, I mean, the Air Force included, underutilized these assets. And therefore, even for the attacks that we went in, we didn't have enough intelligence on the targets. I'm sure the Army faced a similar situation because, like I mentioned, the last mission of the 2nd of December, where we took off from Guwahati, it took aircraft from Hasimara to Guwahati, and then did the recce, and we landed in Kumigram because we didn't have enough gas to get back. Supikol and I stayed on in the photo development room till past 2 o'clock in the morning, developing 6,000 prints from these 2 aircraft and wet marking them, sustained by a bottle of scotch that was contributed by a coursemate of mine who was posted in helicopters over there. Basically, what I want to bring out is that these prints reached Fokor in Teliamora only on 3rd morning, a bit too late because the operations had already started over there. The second operation was my very first mission to gain air superiority in the war. Once the formal declaration of war was made on the 4th of December, and we went in the morning. And this was to attack Tezgaon airfield, which was next to Dhaka. Supikol was leading the formation. I was number 3 in that formation. And we were asked to go low level to avoid radar detection, etc., and interception. And we were actually operating quite a bit over our radius of action at low level. And therefore, we had sacrificed our combat fuel reserves as well as diversionary fuel reserves. Because of this, at low level, we were asked not to engage in combat, and the command provided us 2 MiG-21s, which would rendezvous with us right over the airfield to make sure that we don't get intercepted or diverted from our attacks. But like they say, man proposes and God disposes, and particularly in a war, we got intercepted well before the MiGs rendezvoused with us, RV'd with us. And therefore, because of the threat of these sabers, I had to take tactical action and engage these 2 sabers in combat. Fortunately for me, I got one of them and shook the other one off and came home. But let me tell you, I had barely fumes in my tanks when I landed. I had no fuel to even go around and do another circuit. Thereafter, we switched over to bombing the runways from 5th evening and 6th morning. And by 6th morning, we had completely grounded the lone Sabre squadron that was in Dhaka and achieved a total command of the air. The third operation was the brilliant move by General Sagat Singh of 4 Corps, basically, who capitalized on this air superiority that we had won, and it was a prerequisite to all surface movements unhindered by enemy air, and launched these brilliant heliborne operations, first at Sylhet by 4x5 GR, if I remember, Gurkha Regiment, on the 7th evening, and the second starting of 9th across the Meghna to the West Bank and beyond, which was truly not part of his task because he was only asked to move up till the east bank of Meghna and down to Chittagong and not go any further. He was very ably assisted by Group Captain Chandan Singh in this heliborne operations, basically which shows what joint planning and coordination can actually achieve in war. Because he suddenly turned around this small fleet of Mi-4s, old dilapidated Mi-4s, into a true maneuver force and got his armies across from 2 different directions on the gates of Dhaka by the 12th. This move by Sagat Singh, as well as the move by 2 paras under 101 Comzone after their drop at Tangel on the 11th, aided by some of the operations that we did, actually led to a quick victory by the 13th day. What I want to draw from this particular move by General Sagat Singh is essentially that General Sagat capitalized on this opportunity. However, the other 2 corps, which were 2 Corps and 33 Corps in that area, moving from different directions, didn't even ask or plan for one single heliborne operations, so that they could avoid casualties and rapidly, move across, outflanking the forces that they met. The last operation, I would say, was the coup de grace from the air when we attacked the government house, or the governor's house, on the 14th, when the governor, Mr. Malik, and General Niazi were holding a meeting with all the advisors as well as some of the UN reps in Dhaka. This was based on a very timely and fortunate piece of intelligence that we got as to the timing of this particular meeting. And amazingly, we were briefed on the location of the government house within Dhaka. It's a township, and to precisely pick up that little house, fortunately, a Burma shell tourist map of Dhaka popped up in the base ops or the base operations room. And we still don't know how it came in there and how it was lying there, but it was very fortunate. And we flew on that. The ACAC over Dhaka was very, very thick. And we had 4 hunters from my squadron led by Wing Commander Supikol once again, and me in the first formation. And 4 MiG-21s from Guwahati, which attacked. And I still vividly remember that because of the ACAC, we devised these new tactics and swooped in like eagles from about 6,000 feet in very, very steep dives and delivered our rockets as well as 30 millimeter cannon shells into the window of that conference room accurately without causing any collateral damage. And many people have acknowledged that this perhaps was also one of the psychological moves which forced General Niazi to capitulate in the end. So in this war, which has been rightly likened to a blitzkrieg, we had, after achieving command of the air by the second day, after 48 hours, we had surplus air effort. And many of us, and including me, we used to sit on the ground waiting for demands to come up from the army. And when these didn't come by the afternoon, before last light, before we could launch an operation, we sometimes launch aircraft on search and strike missions beyond the known forward line of the troops on the ground. That, in brief, is the sum of all the air operations in the East, which won us this fabulous victory. I could go on and on with many, many stories over here about the experience as well as the incidents that took place, but time constraints compel me to stop here and say more during questions if there are any. Thank you, and Jai Hind.